So in the morning time, there is a certain frame or a certain time that your body would need, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, that can start, and it can be different for people in the sense like their biology,
Mhm.
but you'll need a higher amount of blue light in the morning, and then you want to have a reduced amount because if you have too much blue light at night, it could overstimulate your pineal gland, which helps you wake up. So if you hit the light, hit your sensorium in your skin, you start to increase more of the chemicals to make you actually wake up more. So you use different colored lenses at different times of day to block out or filter certain amounts of blue light so that you're getting enough in the morning so you can actually stimulate the pineal gland, the gland that helps you with melatonin. And then in the afternoon, you're actually going to block out excessive blue light, i.e., tablets, cell phones, any type of computer that could actually keep you up at night. So we're
Mhm.
using these glasses to actually help. And they say that it actually increases our parasympathetic tone in our body. And Dr. Will and I will, like, when we talk to our patients, it's like, how do we keep ourselves from getting in too much sympathetic, too much excitement?
Mhm.
So if you use these glasses, you're actually going to find out that you can actually stay relaxed throughout the day and stay pretty focused if you use them at
Yeah.
the right time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I have, yeah, as I mentioned, like the lighter ones I have on now during the day and then the darker ones. The I know that I also notice less eye strain because I'm in telehealth. I'm looking at screens all day long. So like my
Yeah.
eyes get fatigued and people, so I've turned into, I'm like looking more and more like the cliched biohacker, which I'm like, don't love, but it's from my well-being. I'm practicing what I teach, dang it. So I wish I didn't look like this. So, anyways, the how did you get into natural medicine, man? How did you get into acupuncture, natural medicine? How did it find you?
I think that it just found me because it worked on my family, and I think it's also in my blood. So in a nutshell, my dad knew a chiropractor that was a close friend of his, and it fixed his back because my dad was in the military. He was a drill sergeant, and he had bone on bone because he had gotten Lyme disease. He'd gotten some effects of chemical warfare from, the war, and so it damaged his joints. And so he had always wore a back brace, and he went to a doctor friend of his, Dr. Bowles, and I always took my dad's weight support belt that you wrap around your waist to like keep his back steady. And I always thought I looked like a Superman kind of guy. Well, he would wear that all the time, and then he stopped wearing it. And so I asked my dad, even at like a very young age, I was like, why don't you have to wear your belt anymore? He goes, well, I went to this doctor who did some work on me, and he goes, my back doesn't need surgery anymore. So I was like, oh, wow, because he's supposed to get back surgery. And then my brother, who breathed through his mouth, like from when I was so young, he shared the same room as I. He was having allergies to dust mites. And so he's always breathing through his mouth. He's always breathing his nose, doing inhalers, having to do shots. And before he had to do his next round of shots, the doctor said, hey, we can help him with the nerves that help his sinuses. And my dad's like, okay. So he took them there. Brother could start breathing through his nose. And it kind of scared me because I didn't hear my brother at night anymore. So in my mind, I was thought I would love to do something. Even at a young age, I was like, I'd love to help somebody like that. Fast forward, I just in school, I just thought about like I would love to do something in the health realm or do like something like being a pilot, like a jet pilot. My dad was in the Air Force after he was in the Army. And I don't know, I think I was just drawn to it. I just kind of made a decision that I want to do something with nervous system neurology. My dad's friend, another friend of his said, you need to tell your son to go to chiropractic university school. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll look into it. So when I got there, I got into acupuncture because I had gotten into a rear end accident, and many of you out there listening probably, like, yeah, I got into a bad accident, and it made me have chronic headaches and migraines like every day. And I would go to get adjusted and getting some things done to my neck, but it seemed like it always popped out of place. There's a guy in the trimesters they call it above you. He was like in the seventh trimester of his clinicals, and he said, "Hey, come by, let me check you out. I'll find out what I can do." And then, brother, he said, hey, you've got some stuff going on with your gallbladder. And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, these areas right here on your neck are all associated with the acupuncture lines of the gallbladder, and you have a sick gallbladder, and that's why your neck keeps going out of alignment. And I was like, I kind of get what you're saying. So he worked on neural lymphatics, and we're taught that in school, like find the neural lymphatic, we just rubbed them out, and he did adjustment, and he did some acupuncture points on me. And after that, I slept for a long time, like slept for 14 hours at night. My neck never went out again.
Oh,
And so that made me look into the organ relationship and how the strength of an organ changes the electrical pathways of the body. And I was like, this is what acupuncture is talking about. And then when I said it found me, my mom, she's Korean, little Korean woman, very feisty. And she goes, "Oh, after all these years, doc," I was like, she goes, "Yeah, you have distant cousins that do what you do." I was like, "What do you mean I have distant cousins that do what I do?" And she goes, "Up in the hills of Korea, they used to do she would do this like the qigong and do the herbs and help people." I said, "Why haven't I ever met them?" And she goes, "They're up way up in the hills." And she goes, "Nobody talks to them. They're kind of crazy. They're crazy people." And I was like, "Thanks, Mom. I appreciate the shout out." But I think that it's kind of in the blood. So that's, I mean,
That's
like that
amazing.
conglomerate, that's how it all came together, brother.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. I didn't know that. It's like this ancestral component of it. And you wonder, I mean, these are the relatives that are alive now, you let alone generations, and you think of what was maybe going on in your family line in Korea. It's so cool.